Good morning, children. Last class we have seen about the physical nature of matter. Yes, so we know that matter is made up of particles, then matter have space between them, then matter is continuously moving, then particles of matter attract each other. Yes, so today we are going to see about states of matter. Okay, you already have studied in your lower classes. What are the three states of matter? Solid state, liquid state, and gaseous states. Yes, so what are the three states of matter? Solid state, liquid state, and gaseous states, isn't it? So now we are going to see one by one the properties of solid state. Okay, first we can see the properties of solid state. So solid have a definite shape. Okay, it has a definite shape and it has distinct boundaries and fixed volume. So any solid material, for example table or blackboard or book, they all example for solid, yes, solid material. So they have a definite shape and distant boundaries. That means they will be having a particular surface area or particular size and have a fixed volume. Yes, and solid, another property of solid is it is a non-compressible. We can't compress solid. Okay, so sponge and easily it will be compressible, yes, but gaseous form means it will be compressible, but solid or non-compressible. Okay, and solid state, this they have tendency to maintain their shape when subjected to force also. Even we are applying force also, the solid we can't change its shape easily. Okay, we have to apply more if we are applying more force means okay, sometime it will break, but it is very difficult to change their shape. Okay, so what are the properties of solid state? Solid have a definite shape, distant boundaries, and fixed volume. It is non-compressible and it have tendency to maintain their shape when subjected to force. So solid may break, but it is very difficult to change their shape. Understood, children? Now we are moving. So consider some of the activity which is given in we can see some of the activity which is given in your reader. Okay, so first one is stretching of rubber band. So rubber band, it is a solid now. So rubber band change its shape under force. When we are stretching it by applying force by our hand, it will change again, it will regain the same shape when the force is removed. Okay, so when we are removing our hand from stretching the rubber band, again the rubber band will easily change into its same shape. Okay, so stretching of rubber band is example of that is solid have a fixed shape and it's very difficult to change its shape even we are applying force also. Okay, and now we can see another one example for solid, that is sugar and salt. Okay, so we know what about sugar and salt. When we are keeping it in different jar, they will take the shape of the jar. Yes, but these sugar, if you are seeing the individual sugar, they have the crystalline form and the shape of that crystalline form of sugar remains fixed. Okay, so it is a solid. Okay, now what about sponge? It is solid, but we are able to compress it, but also when we are compressing it will, we can change its shape, but when we are removing our hand, when we are removing the force from it, again it will regain its original shape. So solid, even we are applying force also, it will regain its original shape. We can't change its shape easily. Okay, it will break, but it will not change its shape. Understood, children? So example for property of solid state, I told stretching of rubber band, sugar and salt, sponge. Now we can move to properties of liquid state. So you know what example for liquid is water, isn't it? So it have no fixed shape. Okay, liquid means it have no fixed shape but have a fixed volume. We'll say no 1 liter, 2 liter. Oh, yes, so they have a fixed volume but they don't have shape. Okay, and so what they will do, they will take up the shape of the container in which they are kept. Okay, if you are keeping in glass, they will take the shape of the glass. As if you are keeping in bottle, the liquid will take the shape of the bottle. As so they will take up the shape of the container in which they are kept. Understood, children? Then liquid flow and change shape, so they are not rigid but can be fluid. Okay, so when we are pouring it into other place, so according to the shape of the container it will change, but it don't have fixed shape and they are not rigid. That means they are not hard like what solid. Okay, you know solid is very hard, it is very difficult to change its shape, but liquid while pouring in other place, in other container also we can change its shape according to the shape of the container. It will change its shape, but they are not rigid, they are not hard, and so that we can say that liquids are fluid. Okay, now another property of this liquid, no, solids and liquids easily it will diffuse into the liquid, because you know solid, in last class we have seen the intermolecular space between the solid is lesser than liquid, but liquid can easily liquid have the more space, as they are having more space to occupy the particle of other substance such as solids and liquids. So easily in liquid solids and liquids can be diffused. Okay, so that means in liquid solid and liquids can be easily dissolved. That means the particle of the liquids the can be occupied by the other particle of either solid or liquid. Understood, children? Then gases from atmosphere also can diffuse and dissolve in the water. Okay, because the water have more spaces, the particle of the water have space between them, so even gases from atmosphere also can diffuse into the water. Okay, and dissolve in water. So example for this is, we know that oxygen and carbon dioxide, these are both the gases which are essential or which are important for the survival of aquatic animals and plants. Yes, so aquatic animals will use what oxygen for their survival. Plants, aquatic plants will use carbon dioxide for their survival. Yes, so you know aquatic animals means they will be in water, as aquatic plants and animals they will be in water. So how they will intake this oxygen and carbon dioxide from the atmosphere? They can breathe underwater. Yes, because these oxygen which is present in the atmosphere, it will diffuse into the water. Okay, so that is called dissolved oxygen. So the oxygen from the atmosphere, it will diffuse into the water. So such oxygen is called what? Dissolved oxygen. So these aquatic animals can breathe underwater due to the presence of dissolved oxygen in water. Okay, so if the diffusion property of gas into liquid is not there, means very difficult for the aquatic animals to survive. Yes, because of the diffusion property. You know what is meant by diffusion? Last class I have explained the intermixing of two matters. Yes, intermixing of solid and liquid, or liquid and gas, or liquid and liquid. Yes, so here what is happening, the oxygen, it is diffused into the water present in the pond or lake or river and dissolved in the water, which forms the dissolved oxygen, which is taken by the aquatic animals and aquatic plants. Understood, children? So the rate of diffusion of liquid is higher than that of solid. Okay, so we can understand from this the rate of diffusion of liquid is higher than that of solid, because particles of liquids move freely and have greater space between each other. Already I told us. So the rate of diffusion of liquid is higher than that of solid because the particles of liquid can easily freely move and have greater space between each other. Understood, children? Now we are moving to properties of gaseous state. Okay, properties of gaseous state. So gaseous state are highly compressible than liquid and solid. Okay, so they are, we know that example liquefied petroleum gas which we are using in our home for cooking. Yes, LPG. LPG means what? Liquefied petroleum gas. This gas which we are using in our home for cooking. Yes, and not only that, oxygen supplied to hospital, it is also an example. So in cylinders they will supply the oxygen cylinders. So this is example for compressed gas. Okay, not only that, compressed natural gas which we are using as fuel these days in vehicles. Okay, nowadays in many vehicles they are using natural gas called compressed natural gas. So these are example that shows that gas are highly compressible than liquid and solid. Okay, and diffusion of gas is more than liquid. Okay, than liquid, diffusion of gas is more. We studied in properties of matter, that is this incense. Yes, incense, it will incense stick in a corner if you are keeping also, it will be easily, it will spread to the room, as the smell of the incense stick will spread easily because the gaseous form, diffusion of gas is more than the liquid. Okay, liquid, and it is more than the solid also, because the speed of the particle have large space between them. Okay, so than liquid than solid, the diffusion of gas is more because it have large space between them in the particle. Okay, next, gas exerts pressure. Okay, gas exerts pressure. Okay, it will exert a pressure. Okay, so first property is what? Gaseous state. First property, it is highly compressible. Example for compressible gas is liquefied petroleum gas, compressed natural gas, and oxygen cylinders which we are supplying in hospital. So why gas is compressible? Diffusion of gas is more than liquid and solid because of large space between them. Okay, and gas exerts pressure. Now in this slide we can once again we can recall the difference between solid, liquid, gas. Okay, the property of solid, liquid and gas. Okay, we know that shape. Solid has fixed shape. Liquid no fixed shape. It will take the shape of the container. Gas no fixed shape. Volume of solid fixed volume. Then liquid fixed volume. But gas no fixed volume because it is compressible. No, it has no fixed volume. Then rigidity, solid or rigid, so it cannot flow. But liquid can flow, it is not rigid. And gas can flow, not rigid. Okay, and intermolecular force, that means we know that particles they will join together due to intermolecular force. Yes, so force of attraction between them, last class we have seen. So intermolecular force between the particles of solid is maximum, and it is less than solid in liquid, and gas the intermolecular force is very less. Okay, and intermolecular space in solid it is very less, so in liquid it is more than the solid. Okay, intermolecular space is more than the solid, and in gas it is maximum and less than gas. Okay, so it is maximum, it is more than liquid and solid. Intermolecular space in gas is more than liquid and solid. Next, compressible, we know solid is non-compressible, liquid we can compressible, but gas then liquid it is highly compressible. Okay, gaseous state we can say that it is highly compressible. Understood, children? So now we can go for next topic, that is matter can change its shape. Okay, so can matter change its shape? We have observed that water can exist in three states of matter. Yes, in solid form water will be exist in the form of ice, liquid water will be as water, and in the gaseous state water will be in the form of water vapor. So now we are going to see the activity which is given in your book. So first, effect of change of temperature. So due to the change in temperature, sometime there will be a change in states of matter. Okay, sometimes solid can be converted to liquid or liquid to gaseous. So now first we are going to see about effect of change of temperature. So due to the change in temperature, what is the effect caused in the states of matter? Okay, for this we are going to see one activity. It is take about 150 gram of ice. Okay, you have to take what, 150 gram of ice in a beaker and suspend a thermometer. Here you can see in the picture as suspend a thermometer so that its bulb have to be in contact with the ice. Okay, so first you have to take about 150 gram of ice in a beaker and just suspend a thermometer. The bulb of the thermometer have to be in contact with the ice. Next you have to just heat. Okay, start heating the beaker on a low flame. Okay, just we have to heat the beaker on a low flame, and when we are heating, just you have to note the temperature. Okay, when you should note the temperature? No, when the ice will start melt, that time you have to note the temperature. Again, when ice we have to note the temperature again when all the ice has converted into water. Okay, then record your observation for this conversion of solid to liquid state. Okay, so here in this activity we can see when we are heating the ice, it will start to melt and it get converted into liquid. Yes, so on increasing the temperature of solid, you know ice is a solid. Yes, so on increasing the temperature of solid, the kinetic energy of the current. So kinetic energy means, already in last class I explained, the energy which is possessed by the particle when it is in motion. Yes, so when there is an increase in temperature of solid, the kinetic energy of particle increases. Due to the increase in kinetic energy, the particles start vibrating with greater speed. The energy supplied by the heat overcome the force of attraction between the particles. You know solid, the force of attraction is very strong. Yes, but due to the heat, the energy supplied by the heat, so you know heat is a form of energy. So due to the energy supplied by the heat, the heat will overcome the force of attraction between the particles, and the particles leave their fixed position and start to melt. Understood, children? So how the solids start to melt? Because of increase in temperature, the kinetic energy of particle increases. Due to the increase in kinetic energy, the particles start vibrating, and the energy supplied by heat overcome the force of attraction between the particles. So the particles leave their fixed position and start to melt. Okay, so at that stage only there will be a melting of solid, and easily it will converted into liquid. Understood? Okay, now again activity 2. Here the liquid converted into what? Liquid converted into water vapor. Okay, liquid converted into water vapor. So in the same way, again when we are increasing the temperature, the water again it will get converted into what? Water vapor. Okay, the heat energy again will make the particles to move faster. So the solid will melt, it get converted into water, then water gets converted into water vapor. So now we have seen that there is a conversion of solid to liquid and from liquid to water vapor. Yes, so solid to liquid, liquid to gaseous form, that is water vapor. So the what is meant by melting point? Now we are going to see what is meant by melting point. The minimum temperature at which a solid melts to become a liquid. So already in activity I told that we have to note the temperature when the solid start to melt. Yes, so the temperature, the minimum temperature at which a solid melts to become a liquid at the atmospheric pressure is called as melting point. So melting point means what? It is the minimum temperature at which a solid melts to become a liquid. Okay, so melting point of ice is 273 degree Celsius. Okay, so when the ice will start to melt at 273 degree Celsius. Okay, now fission means what? What is meant by fission? Definition of fission: the process of melting, that is change of solid state into liquid state, that is called fission. Okay, so the process of melting, so we know that solid state will converted into liquid state. Yes, so that process of melting is called as what? Fission. Understood? Now latent heat of fission. Next term is what? Latent heat of fission. What is meant by latent heat of fission? Amount of heat energy that is required to change 1 kilogram of solid into liquid. So we know that solid can be converted into liquid when the heat is applied. Yes, so latent heat of fission means the amount of heat energy which is required to change 1 kg of solid into liquid at atmospheric pressure, that is at its melting point. Okay, so the amount of heat energy that is required to change 1 kg of solid into liquid at atmospheric pressure at its melting point is called as what? Latent heat of fission. Now so we know melting point. Melting point means the minimum temperature at which the solid get converted into liquid. Yes. Now boiling point. What is meant by boiling point? The temperature at which liquid starts boiling. Okay, the temperature at which liquid starts boiling at the atmospheric pressure. Okay, that is called boiling point. So we know in our house when we are keeping the water to boil, it will boil after some time. No, the particular temperature at which a liquid starts boiling, that is called what? Boiling point. Now we can see what is meant by latent heat of vaporization. So latent heat of vaporization. Definition for latent heat of vaporization: it is the amount of heat energy that is required to change liquid into vapor at atmospheric pressure at its boiling point. Okay, just opposite to latent heat of fission. So it is the amount of heat energy which is required to change liquid into vapor at atmospheric pressure at its boiling point. Okay, so latent heat of fission means what? It is the amount of heat energy which is required to change solid into liquid at atmospheric pressure at its melting point. So latent heat of vaporization means what? It's the amount of heat energy that is required to change liquid into vapor at atmospheric pressure at its boiling point. Understood, children? So now we are going to see about sublimation. Okay, so sublimation means a change of state directly from solid to gas. So still this much time we have seen that solid can be converted into liquid, then liquid to gas. Yes, so but some substance no can be directly converted from solid to gas without changing into liquid state. So that process is called what? Sublimation. What is known as sublimation? It is the process of conversion of direct conversion, okay, conversion of solid directly to gas without changing into its liquid state. This called what? Sublimation. So we can see one activity for this. Take some camphor. So other name of camphor, that is ammonium chloride. Okay, so take some camphor or ammonium chloride, just crush it. Okay, crush it and put it in a china dish. Here you can see in the picture china dish. Okay, so just you have to take some camphor or salt such as ammonium chloride and put it in a china dish, and you have to put an inverted funnel over the china dish. You can see in the picture. Yes, so above the china dish you have to keep the funnel invertly. Okay, invertedly. So just you have to put an inverted funnel over the china dish, then you have to put a cotton plug on the stem of the funnel. You can see in the picture. Yes, so you have to keep a cotton plug on the stem of the funnel. Okay, so now you have to heat slowly. You have to heat slowly and observe what will happen. When we are heating this ammonium chloride or camphor present in the china dish, it will easily converted into gaseous form. Okay, it will not converted into what? Liquid. Without converting into liquid form, directly it will get converted into what? Gaseous form. So that process is called what? Sublimation. Understood? So ammonium chloride, when we are heating, it is directly converted to what? Gaseous form. So that process is called sublimation. Sublimation means what? It is the process of conversion of solid directly to gas without changing into liquid state. Understood, children? Next, one more definition, that is deposition. Okay, what is meant by deposition? The direct change of gas into solid without changing into liquid is called what? Deposition. Okay, so just opposite to sublimation. So in sublimation, solid to gas, direct conversion, yes, without changing into liquid state. But in deposition means direct change of gas into solid without changing into liquid is called what? Deposition. Understood, children? So I hope that you all understand about states of matter, that means properties of solid, liquid and gas, and both sublimation, melting point, boiling point, latent heat of vaporization, latent heat of fission. Yes, so if you have any doubt you can ask, and just you take running note in separate science book. Okay, you keep one separate book for science and take running note of it. Okay, and you have any doubt you can ask. Thank you, children.